Hey everybody. I know I said hey to you guys on here, but everybody joining from Facebook, hello. My name is Shayna Potter. I am a community manager for House Call Pro, and I am joined today with Phil. Phil is an expert in the House Call Pro product and various business workflows. He is going to walk us through all the need to knows for today's episode of Pro Power Hour. Topic spring cleaning. So let's get into it. Phil, what do these guys need to learn today?
All right, yeah, for sure. When we kind of picked this topic, it's kind of a little bit of a different one for me because my job is more to put things into the system, not get rid of things. But we can certainly talk about how to clean up anything that has come up over time. I see we do have a little bit of agenda here, but we don't have a slide deck today, so
You
we're
don't
gonna
need
just
it.
bypass that. Um, so first thing that was on here was just talking about importing and exporting data. So we have done a session on this in the past, which is fine. We're just kind of a refresher here. So as we go on into my account, when it comes to importing and exporting data, so couple of different places to do this. It really depends on what kind of data that we're looking to export and import and all that. So first, I'm just going to say we're just going to move across the top up here. So the first thing that we're going to most likely look for is our customer list. So if we go to customers, there is going to be, as we can see, there's my list of customers that are all in here. And if we scoot on over to the right over here where it says actions, that is where we can import and export, restore any deleted, and we can manage any duplicates. So if you need to export your data for any reason, I think everybody should have done their taxes by now, but if you need to pull your customer list for any reason, this is where you'll go ahead and export. We will send you an email with a spreadsheet with your customer list in there. So that's for the customer list. The next thing we would most likely, what I
Oh,
tend to
I
see
just
more.
wanted to say one thing about this button here under the actions of manage duplicates. Can we just click on the manage duplicates real quick? I don't know if you have any duplicates in here, but anybody who is watching this and has been using House Call Pro for a very long time, it's not new, but it's new enough to mention that, hey, this is here because we didn't used to have this. And this is awesome. So House Call Pro will, especially if you're using online booking or like the CSR AI, and you're getting a bunch of duplicate customers, if you go in here and go through this list, if it's you can match it by name, by address, by email, by phone number, and you might not even realize how many duplicates you have, and you can even have like say there's different perfect example. See these different addresses, two are the same, but one is not. I mean, you can still put that together if it is the same customer, and you can have multiple addresses under one contact. So, say a customer owns two different properties that you serve, or service, I mean, then that will show up under your jobs and estimates tab as, and you can sort and filter by different addresses. So this is really, really helpful, and I highly suggest that you go through here. Another thing I wanted to mention was I hear it all the time that pros will be, for whatever reason, having an issue with not being able to enter into a job for a customer they know for a fact has been in the system, and don't delete a customer, merge that customer because any jobs that are under that profile are you're going to have all kinds of wonky weird things. Hey, no, it's on the schedule or have a link to that, and you're going into the profile, it's giving you all kinds of errors. Well, 9 out of 10 times I'm finding that customer under the deleted customers list, and that's why there's so many issues because someone flagged a duplicate and then they deleted it instead of merging it. So, word to the wise, merge, don't delete.
Yeah. Yeah, and as I kind of circled over here, there's the merge button over there. So once you select your options that you want to merge, we would just hit the button, and there's kind of like making sure that here's all the information that's going to be merged together. And we'll go ahead and hit merge, and it's just going to tell you that once we merge them, that you can't unmerge them. So,
Are we able to merge now customers that have service plans?
mhm,
Oh my God. That is
yep.
like blowing my mind. I didn't know that. I swear, I learn something new every time I attend Pro Power Hour. So, like I said, if you've been using House Call for a long time, then you used to not be able to merge a customer that had a service plan, and you can totally do that now. So, if you've been waiting and hoping that someday you'll be able to, now you can do that.
Yep. And yeah, and that's really all there is to it with the duplicates. And we have a couple of different options here. And so match customers on the name, the mobile number, home number. So it's very intuitive for however you want to merge them. But yeah, good call, Shayna. So scooting on over to the more option. The next thing that we can do an export of is going to be well, I mean, I know the price book comes first, so we're actually gonna click on this before we talk about reporting. But um, if you're doing some cleanup on your price book, is we can come on over here to our uh, there we go, our price book settings. And in here, this is where we can export our services. Now, everybody should be aware that within our price book, within the House Call Pro price book, there is the services price book and then there is the materials price book. I'm pretty sure I've done a session before where I talked about both of them, but right here, right now, we're under services. So if I want to just export my services, there's the button right there to do so. And there's also the ability to do it for our materials. So if you are one of those that have a material price book as well, there's the export button. And as we're kind of with the theme of here of doing the spring cleaning, is if you're cleaning out, old parts that you don't have, old services that you're no longer providing, once you clean up your sheet, you can then just above there upload the file right there for your materials. Same thing with our services. There's the upload button right there. So once it's fixed, we can always get it back in the system. So then the uh, last thing that I tend to see most people will usually would export is going to be some of their reporting. So when we do go into reports, really you can pull up any report that you need. Um, I would say, let's look at time tracking by employee. Oh, this is actually probably not a good report because I don't really have a whole lot of data in there. Let's maybe go into something I know I have some data. So, like right here, I'm just looking at my jobs from this year on a monthly basis. So, looking down below, there's the export button right there. So, if I need to print it, send it to anybody, I can always export this data. And you can do this for every report that we have in the system. So, I know I said I didn't really have much data for the time tracking, but if I did, that export button would be lit up. Let's see if we can get maybe a little bit of info last year for sure. All right, there we go. So now I got some data in there, and notice now I can go ahead and export that. Um, so that's generally what I see the most of when it comes to people trying to export stuff. I'm curious, I'd love to see any questions, or Shayna, if you have any other input on things that we would want to be exporting out of House Call.
Well,
Um,
I know that AI is going to be a super hot topic, and there's a lot that people are learning right now about what is possible with AI, Gemini, ChatGPT, all these like big AI tools, and how you can use those tools to sort through your data and understand your numbers better. This is how you're going to be able to extract that data into those programs so that those tools can start digesting and giving you insights on those any KPIs or any of this data that you have in here. Maybe not this one, but more of like money, really any of the reports that are in here. But let me tell you something on that. Garbage in, garbage out. The AI data is going to want to see all consistent information. So if you've got a job type and business unit filled out on 15 of 20 jobs, then that's going to confuse the AI. So part of your spring cleanup should be to go in here and make sure. Can we show them an example of that, Phil, where we can see if some of these fields are missing as they're going through, they're making sure that like everything is filled out properly. Do you have your job notes? Do you have your did somebody miss hitting start or finish or just any of those buttons within here? Yes. So here, your tags, are your tags filled out? Was it a callback? Is that a callback button selected? So all of these things are at different fields inside of your reporting tab. So if you go into just go into jobs and then like jobs by count, for example. Yeah. Yeah. Job count. Okay, so we're doing created, that's fine. And then yeah, do total.
Oh, it
Oh,
was
maybe
keeping that
yes.
created.
Creative was better. Typically, you guys are gonna want to run this report by job finished. But yeah, click on total so we can just see all the different columns on this report. I think a lot of people don't know how to get into the second page. So here, this will open in a new tab, and you can now go to edit columns, Phil. Okay. These are all of the things that you can see on these reports. If you do not select them, they're not going to be in the report that you export. So if you're wanting to see your notes, and every single job needs to have some sort of update, some sort of note on it, but you can see easily all of them by clicking on notes and just click all of these things so that we can show what it looks like. Yes. So if you scroll over, there's going to be a little bar that you can drag over, and it'll tell you all the data about this job. Look, if you've got a job travel duration on one job and not another one, then that person didn't hit start or they didn't hit on my way. You'll be able to see that on these reports right here. So this is a perfect time to go before it starts ramping up and getting super busy that you have no time to do anything like this. Get your systems in order, get your system cleaned up, and make sure you have everything set up for the busy season. And make sure all these fields are filled out and create a process that will allow your employees to understand what needs to be filled out and how you can see if it's been done or not
Yeah,
instead of going one by one.
that's true. Very true. Yeah, and with any of these more nuanced reports that you get into, as Shannon mentioned, you can always export them as well.
Yes, and then export it.
Cool. All right. I didn't see any other questions about exporting anything. Um, I did answer Leo's question that we don't have a way of putting any holds on a credit card. That's not really what we do, but the best thing we can do is a deposit.
Yes, and I'm
Uh,
curious, Leo, of what is the use case where you would need to do like an authorization hold, but not actually charge, um, like until later, other than because to me, I'm thinking, okay, you want to make sure that customer is gonna pay or know that you collect payment when the job is complete. And so securing that credit card on file is the best way to manage expectations, make sure you have a payment method. But I think that there's something that I'm missing for the use case of wanting to. authorize it, but not actually charge it until after the work is done. So if you could help me out with that, that would be great. But there is another question from Ryan Seraphin. If I increase prices, can I only select certain clients? No, you
Yeah, the answer
can't.
is going to be no.
So your price book is your price book, and the only way you would be able to do that is if you had two categories inside of your price book and you can increase one category and not the other. So if you have certain clients, they're commercial clients, or I'm not sure what your industry is, but if you wanted to pull from the price book for like the different category, you could do that. That's like a advanced workflow. And then the other thing that I'm thinking is if you want to make a template, if you want to make a template for those certain clients, you can definitely do that. Um, should we go through where to create the templates?
Yeah, I mean for the jobs.
Yeah, like how to make a job template. So if you do have a specific set of clientele where it's going to be two different prices, you can make these in templates, and templates are actually awesome because you can do a checklist, you can do the tags, you can do the job type and business unit, and you can do all of the pricing there right in that one template. It's literally one click instead of having to do all this other work, and especially if you're using that on a regular basis.
Yeah. I was actually just showing my last pro about like let's say it's 18 minutes, about almost 30 minutes ago, showing them how to do this. But yeah, so if you have work that, you commonly do, like with a lot of the plumbing companies I talk to, the most common thing they have, is clogged drain, clogged toilet. So in here, I mean, this isn't a good example because this is already an ongoing job, but let's try a different one. So we're gonna put customer in, and it's log toilet. And say $200. And so when we go to this little gear and wrench icon, we can go ahead and save that as a new job template. And we'll call it log toilet. We can have the checklists. So I know this is an electric, but again, we're just kind of playing around here. So we've got one checklist on there. We'll have our job type be a repair. Business unit is going to be my plumbing business unit. Um,
You can do notes, you can do attachments. Say there's a specific attachment that you need for whatever template you're creating. If you're going to service a certain type of air conditioning unit, that could be like your RUD template. I don't know a lot of HVAC like commercial brand names, but you get what I'm saying. Like if there's any sort of service manuals in there that you need on a regular basis or some sort of SOP that you want to add, you can add all of those attachments, like preload them in there.
all right, so go ahead and hit save. So then now we have the that one done. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go to job. And notice up here we can pull from the job templates. So we are going to look for there's our clogged toilet one. So we'll go ahead and click that. And boom. See, it's already got all that information in there. Um, and there's our line item right there too. Just
He's
gotta
deleting
put,
the pricing form for anybody who's not familiar with what you're seeing there on the pricing form. You can select for the pricing form to be added to any new job or estimate. So that's why it keeps popping up, and Phil keeps deleting it because it's not relevant to the example that he's showing, just so nobody is getting confused with, okay, why is he doing that? That's you're seeing the pricing form.
yeah. And I do see a couple of things in here that I definitely want to respond to. But yeah, I just really wanted to show there is boom, there's the line item, and there's the checklist. Now I want to talk about checklists because I see a couple of people bringing up checklists. So Ginger, you were saying that your techs are manually bypassing the checklist. Um, there is a way to make it required. So with that is if we're going to create a checklist. Actually, yeah, create from scratch. It's right here at the switch where it says required. So if I'm going to say, make sure.
Yeah, or there's another like for pictures, the media uploads.
Yep. Here, this is the examples I always use. Did checkbox, and then I under so do take and then media upload.
And then another great use case for any sort of AI tool is going in, giving it some information about your industry, about what you guys do, the services you provide, and asking ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini to generate a checklist to use on a certain type of job. And you can take that information and copy and paste it into um, the checklist in House Call Pro. You can edit
Uh,
the current one. You can so there's another way to get to the checklist that aren't on the job. I just want to demonstrate another way to do it. Yeah, there you go. It's right there. It's in your apps. You can also find it in your settings.
that is true. I mean, yeah, in your apps, it takes you to the settings section. But yeah, there it is where you can create them. So I did see Scott asking how to set up checklists. So as Shayna mentioned, we can go to the apps, which brings you to the settings. You can go directly to the settings, or what I just noticed is new, the way that I just did it right there, and I'm actually very thankful that that's new
Shortcut.
because yeah, it used to take forever to try and get to it. Yeah, Jennifer, the dash has been gone. If you still have it, you got grandfathered into it. But yeah, we no longer have the dash.
I think
Um,
that she means that of the if you do have it, is it going away? No, it's not going away. But right now we're really not sure what's going on with it. So you don't have to worry about it being like plucked out of your account randomly. That's not going to happen, as far as we know
right.
currently.
It's if you, at least I was always told is if you were with us long enough and had the dash and you like the dash, you can keep the dash. But if you are a newer account, you just get the new home screen.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. All right. Uh, Dusty, I have a job that was started before a pay rate change for the text. Does HCP automatically update the pay rate to the new pay rate? Um, if I'm understanding your question correctly, the answer is actually going to be no, because the job that they're on, if that job was completed and they were at, let's say, $25 an hour, and now this week they're at $30 an hour, we still want to keep the records of the previous jobs that had 25. So it's not going to tell this, it's not going to retroactively change it for all the previous jobs. It's just going to be for anything that's moving forward. Um, sure. I see a new compliance section, or has that always been there? Um,
In the
not really.
checklist thing, in the checklist.
Oh,
Maybe go to edit one of them.
are you talking about the inspection sheets?
Is that the inspection sheet, the pass flag or fail thing?
I'm not entirely sure, so I'll wait for Ginger to respond. Jennifer, gotcha. The widgets are being funky and not providing info like it should. That would explain it. Thanks. Okay. I love the dash. Oh, I see you're talking about the dash. Scott loves the dash. Um,
Mhm.
Tyler wants the dash. Save. Okay, yeah, just see more stuff about the Dash. Is there going to be any updates with the invoice deposit sync with QuickBooks at the moment? It takes the whole estimate. Jennifer, unfortunately, I do not have the answer for that question. Um, that's more
You
of a
can
QuickBooks
sync
question.
it. You can sync it from the payment, or you can sync it from the finished button. So it's like one or the other. I think either way, when you send the invoice, it will sync, even if you select one or the other. So once you send that invoice, which you have to send the invoice if you're adding a deposit, it's gonna sync to QuickBooks. I know that's a freaking it's a pain in the ass.
All right, so I think we talked about the templates. We covered our checklists. Let's move on to because we have a couple of other things here
Okay.
prepared. So we talked about everything about importing and exporting as well. So we're going to scoot on over to employee permissions and management. So I know every quarter people are getting new employees, losing employees. So another thing of just keeping track of all of your employees is we're going to stay in settings and we're going to come on over here to teams and permissions. And in here is where we can see everybody that we have in our system. So we can click on anybody and actually, who was that? Dusty was talking about the pay rates. So to his question, Luke Skywalker, he's been with me for 30 years. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna give him a little bit of a pay raise. So coming on into here, we can go on. I have him at $25 an hour. He earned it. We're gonna move him up to $45 an hour. And so right there will automatically update on all existing jobs with no time tracked. It will not impact where the employee has already had tracked time. So as I mentioned, it's not going to backlog and tell the system that a job from last year, he's now getting $45 an hour. It's just anything that is happening currently and moving forward. Also within there, sometimes maybe we want to clean up some permissions. Now that he's been with me for so long and he's doing a great job, maybe now I do want him to be able to add and edit his own jobs. Maybe I do want him to be able to take payments and see prices. And, maybe he's earned the spot where he doesn't have to be booked for online booking. So again, there's not really much in here as much of as in cleanup with your employees. But as I mentioned, just kind of the things that I've typically come across with the pros I talk to is just like changing their pay scale so we can keep track of it. Kind of getting in here for permissions for any reason if maybe somebody is no longer a field tech, we're turning them into office staff, so we can do that as well. Um, Other things is like obviously if we need to get rid of anybody, there is always the option to archive the user. It used to be kind of a delete feature, and people always asking me, like, well, I want to delete them because I don't want, them having access to my system. Archiving them is going to do the same thing. Yeah, the idea that we change the verbiage there is again because we want you to be able to pull back on any records if you need to for any reason. So whenever, we lose somebody, we're just going to hit archive user. That will pull them off of the system, but we will still be able to access their records. They will not be able to access their house call. Um, Anything in here? I do see something from Jennifer Commission. Is there anything in the pipeline that we can mark certain services eligible for commission instead of all or nothing? Yes, we do. It's in beta right now. We are having a huge update towards commissions. where you can choose you'll I believe you're going to be able to do splits. I also think that I
Yep.
know that you're going to be able to do it based off of the I think it's off of the profit and not the total ticket.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And then there's the person who sold it, and then there's the person who did the work. And this is why it's still in beta and it's still getting worked out. The only issue for feedback that we've heard on that is it is requiring you to put commissionable on every single line item. So if you have 10 line items, that can be like really time consuming versus I just some other feedback I heard that would make that process a little bit more efficient.
Yeah.
So we're
Yeah.
still working on that and it's getting revamped. So any feedback you have on commission would be the perfect time now to submit any feedback like that. We can even get you in with the product manager so that your workflows are understood and can be considered for the development of commissions.
Yeah. Um, yeah, and
Oh,
I mean, I've always told my pros is like once we were so thankful to just get the commissions to where it is now. The reason it's taking it so long is I've always been told is just every business does commissions differently, and it's just like it's hard to appease everybody, and so that's why we're taking this step by step. But definitely some big improvements coming.
oh, talk about team member tags and how you can do that on the calendar for scheduling.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So, good thing is let's go ahead and um we're going to go ahead and edit Luke here. And so for him, I have here my San Diego. He's part of my San Diego team. And it'll kind of, as we all saw when I clicked on avatar and tags, that's where we can go ahead and include any additional tags. But going back to the rest of my team here, because I put tags on everybody, is how we have it here. So I've got a couple people that are my San Diego team. I've got a couple people that are my LA team. Um, Here's my regional manager does San Diego and Orange County. Looks like Obi-Wan also does LA and Orange County. So, to what Shayna was talking about is if you do clean up your teams that way, we can then go to the schedule. And if we want to filter on the schedule, we can filter by name or by tag. So that way, if I want to look at my San Diego team there, now I can look at that schedule of everybody that holds that tag. And if I remove it, I can always then add everybody else to look at everybody else's schedule. Um, Scott, I see you're talking about performance pay. That's another thing. I think that's in the works. I don't have a release date. I actually don't know if that's even part of the new commission. But I know that we've got a lot of feedback on it, so we are aware of it. I just don't know of when we're gonna have that. Um,
And performance pay and commissions are two different things. So I think that half of the people want to use commissions as performance pay, and then half of the people want to use commissions as actual true commissions. And so, yeah, it's really complex.
yeah. And then Nathan, what was that a la carte thing I saw earlier? Mm,
Yeah, be more specific, please, Nathan, and we're just gonna move along. And if
yeah.
you can be more specific, then we can go back to it. All right, let's
All
keep it going.
right. So then the next thing I have here is deleting versus canceling. I get this question all the time because one of the first things that I show people how to do is create a job and then how to delete it because they're all learning the system. So when we go ahead and we go for a job, it's going to be this button right up here, the little gear and wrench icon. And at the bottom down here is where we can find cancel a job and delete a job. What canceling job is going to do is it's still going to keep it. I mean, technically, they both are going to stay in the system. But if we cancel a job, the job will just be marked as canceled. So we're going to say, yes, cancel the job. And we see that it's been pulled. Um, we can still access that job. I didn't do a great job of remembering who that was. I think I think
I
that
think it was
was
Mezzy Dog. I thought it was Mezzy
um
Dog.
it might be. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that we can always go back to it. We can always go to jobs. I think it was my sister-in-law, but yeah, so like this stuff this is where we can always still access those jobs because technically we just canceled it. We didn't delete it. Now for jobs, if we are going into a job, and this time I'm going to write it down. So we're talking job with Teeny, and that was 407. Last four digit. I should probably write the whole thing down. 240. Okay. So if I delete the job is going to be deleted. And we shouldn't 240407. And as we can see, we can't find anything. So once a job has been deleted, that is completely deleted from the system. When it is canceled, it is going to be still in the system. We still can access it because we're just simply telling it that that job was canceled for that day. Um, the other things for deleting and canceling, um, other things that I can think of is when it comes to invoices. I know that we can't, every invoice gets archived. So I'm trying to find a good example here. Invoices. Okay. So this one has been paid. Oh, you can't delete it either. Did that change? I thought you can always delete an invoice. Okay, I guess that changed. You can change. Oh, I know what I'm thinking of. It's because if we do issue an invoice and we delete the job, there's a big yellow banner that comes across here that tells us that the job has been deleted, but the invoice is still active. Apologies, I got those mixed up. So invoices are in there to stay. You can't delete them. It's just your jobs that you can cancel and delete, and already explained the differences between those two.
Fair enough.
Um, and
What
then.
what were the other things that we had on the list to go over?
The last one I had here is best tips for cleaning up old estimates and invoices. I know with estimates that you can, similarly with the jobs, if we go into estimates, you can delete or cancel estimates. Similarly, that one was approved, so let's do this one. That one's unscheduled. So yeah, in here we're looking at an estimate, and if we want to get rid of an estimate, we would go on up here to where it says option number one. And there's going to be the three dots right there. When we click on it, there's going to be the option to cancel, which we learned does not delete it out of the system. But if we hit delete, that is going to delete it out of the system. So that is what it takes with the estimates. And as we just kind of discussed, as we were saying with the invoices, those cannot be deleted. It's more of the jobs that can be deleted. So when it comes to cleanup with that, that's all there really is that's available. Um,
I see a lot of people who are struggling with you have when you go to the home screen, look at your home screen and see how many open estimates do you have on your home screen. If you have more than like if they're open from last year, then you have to clear them out. If you do not respond to that estimate, either it is approved or it is denied, then it is going to sit as open. So, see this right here under outcome? It's open right now because there's no like the customer has to either approve it or the pro has to approve it or decline it. And if you have customer can approve multiple options, then it's not going to auto decline the other options. The other options has to be manually declined. Otherwise, it's going to sit open because they still have the option to accept other options. So if you set it to customer can only approve one option and pro declined. So it's going to auto close all the options. You don't have to do it one by one and get those out of there. If you want to do some sort of campaign to try to, win those back or whatever, I guess you could do that. But the whole theme of this, of what we're doing now, is spring cleaning. Clean those up, get them out of the way so you can actually focus on your current estimates and doing the best for your customers right now before busy season and as you go into busy season because it's going to start getting crazy.
Yeah, and another way to get ahead of this, I think you mentioned it already, is that you can go into your estimate settings and you can have a expiration date. So you can go ahead to get ahead of this so that we can get ahead of not having to clean it up by saying, okay, after 30 days, after 60 days, after 90 days, if they don't approve it, just go ahead and mark it as not one, then it'll come off your pipeline. And also it won't be part of that open estimates anymore. Um, so Nathan did come back and I believe he is talking about the pricing form.
Yes.
So I'm going to just kind of actually, I think the best place to show that would be in our price book because that's where you build out your pricing forms right over here. And so we'll use my home cleaning service as the example. But in here, instead of doing line items, what we can do is we can create to your point, more of this like a la carte style. So I have here, I put in single select, there's quantity select, and then there's multi select, and then lastly, there's numerical range. So how that looks is it looks like this, and that's probably what you were seeing on what we were talking about, couple 30 minutes ago. And in here, this is where I have my bedrooms I think it's like $25 a bedroom. So when we go ahead and click on it, instead of having to type out, three bedrooms, four bedrooms, two bedroom, one bath, one garage, and all of that's already in the system so that it's just falling onto this form, keeping it nice and clean. This isn't for every industry. I see it mostly for cleaning industries. But I do show it to all of my pros because maybe you find some use of it. Uh, Um, Now that's all we really had in terms of cleaning up. Any other questions that people have? I feel like we can kind of do a little open forum here for the last few minutes we have.
Now's your chance. I see a couple of people dropping off. So if you're typing something, hit enter or like, yes, I do have a question. Um, all right, we can end a little bit early, which is awesome. We were quick, we were concise. There's the info you need. If there's any topics that job
Job,
costing.
job costing. Okay.
That's not a
Yeah,
specific question. We did do a whole 1 hour session on job costing.
yeah. I was about to say I don't know if I don't know if we have the bandwidth today to do
Yeah. Like if
it.
you have a specific question, we could definitely go into it. But if you're just like, I'd like to learn about job costing, then what I'm gonna do right now, Scott, is I'm gonna send you the Pro Power Hour playlist. There's so much content in there for everything that you might be wondering about job costing specifically. So I can find that. It's kind of hidden inside of YouTube, which is weird, but if you go into YouTube and like I said, I'm gonna send you the link. And if you go to the House Call Pro YouTube page, and then there's a tab that says playlists. Under playlist is every single video that we've ever done. Like we had Pipeline to Profit, our spring virtual summit, the virtual summit from the winter, and then all the Pro Power Hour episodes. I'm gonna send you, yeah, this whole list. And job costing was episode, let me find it.
I think we also tackled that this year already. That might have been in January.
Was it online booking? Yeah, because we went really, really in detail into it too. Um, yeah, because it can be complex. How do I share this? I don't know.
Um, and we're just trying to get the YouTube
Oh,
video.
yeah, I found it. I found
Okay.
it. Share and then copy. Okay, Scott, here it is. Hey Ted, yep, I'm gonna put the link here to everybody. So that's our YouTube. And then tomorrow we have what is called office hours. So that office hours is totally open. Everybody comes on. So your camera on, mic on the webinar. You have an opportunity to ask other pros what they're doing. And we have our super pros that attend this, and they're very proficient in the system. And then uh, us as House Call Pro employees, along with the super pros, are answering questions. We're helping with workflows. We're giving ideas. We're talking about other things too that are not just House Call Pro related. So I'm going to send you the link to that. It's at 2 o'clock Eastern. I highly recommend getting connected with the rest of the community so that you have some resources available when you're like, oh, I'm so frustrated. How do I do this? And you're like, oh, let me just call Anthony or Kyle or Kevin because they're really helpful and they know what they're talking about. So, okay, awesome. Great, great episode. Thank you so much, Phil, and thanks everybody for being here. Like I said at the beginning, my name is Shayna Potter. If you have any questions, you can always hit me up on Facebook Messenger. I don't check emails. That's the best place to reach me. And I hope everybody has a great night and a very happy Easter. Take care, guys. Bye.